Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. We have had, well, an interesting day in the market. We'll have a look at the charts in just a moment. We can see how there's just been a lot of sideways movement. We've seen some pretty interesting rallies. Oil has gone from about $77 to almost $88 in a matter of just a couple of days. We know that there's a lot of tension going on in Iran and some of the oil shipping and so on over there, and it's really kind of driving things nuts. We have oil and gold just going straight through the roof, and that's we're going to look at that on the charts in just a moment. We did, however, see a little bit of a rally, about 10 points on the S&P and about 70 points here on the Dow so far. So things are looking pretty good for today. Some nice little upward movements there, so we'll keep an eye on that. Quick little look at the kind of news we have out today. Remember, we have Australian retail sales. We had the interest rate announcement yesterday. Everything kind of stayed as expected, pretty much a non-event, so to speak. So we just kind of coasted through that. Coming into tomorrow, though, remember we have a bank holiday in the U.S. We won't be doing any trading or anything on Wednesday. It's July 4th here in the U.S., so things will be pretty quiet with the U.S. dollar, but we could still see some activity with trade balance coming out of Australia and a little bit of news coming out of the U.K. as well. So just a couple of things to keep an eye on. Remember, we do have non-farm payroll coming out this week as well, so Friday is going to be a pretty big one. The dollar index is kind of starting to work its way down here. Actually, let's go to this daily chart. Remember, 82 is our support we're trying to stay above. This is the daily chart. So for days and days, for a month and a half plus, 2 months even, it's been above this 82, and it just dipped down below there, and here it is trying to dip again. And it looks like we're starting to work a little bit of a short-term double top in here. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. We've got a little channel in the works and so on. So we should see some nice movements on this dollar index, and we'll keep an eye on that coming into the next couple of days. Let's have a look at the currencies here. So far the euro, we didn't have any notes on this for the UK session because I just kind of wanted to wait and see if we got some breakouts. And then the US session, it ended up giving us this quick little spike right here, and then it's just still consolidated. So what we have to work with is a nice little descending trend line. We have a lot of resistance, number one, at about 126.05, 126.10. So we've basically broken that, and we're sitting on about 126.10 right now. We had a high here of about 126.25. Our next major resistance is about 126.40. So as long as we kind of sit on this resistance, we may be able to make a little bit of a run into those upper levels. But as this trend line sits right here, I think we're kind of better off waiting for a break, even potentially of the highs here of about 126.25, to see if we can get a run into the 126.50, 40-50 area, quick little 25 pip run, and then even potentially into this 126.90. So you can see that we have some good potential. If we can make a clean break of this little daily high right here, I think we've got a good chance of making it into 126.90, and we should have some good pips there. Now, there will be a short-term choppy, I'm not going to love it kind of trading opportunity if we break back below 12600. So back below 12600 could get us back into the bottom of this channel, which again is only about 25 pips. This 12600 has been a very strong, not to be ignored kind of a level. So as the markets are kind of working their way back down into that, I think we could have a very short-term sell into these lows right there. So keep an eye on that. But really what I like is about 125.75, 70 area, getting a break of that and trading this down into about the 61.8 fib of this run up right here, which is about 125.1520. So I want to just kind of keep an eye on that right there. And see if we can get a break of that and start to work the movement down just a little bit into those lower fib levels. So those are kind of our levels, 126.25 and about 125.70. These are kind of our breakout areas, and I don't want to trade anything too terribly much in the middle. Like I said, there's a short-term opportunity right here, but anything too much in the middle I think is going to get pretty messy and choppy and not give us too much, too much good movement to work with. Speaking of kind of choppy and messy, the pound dollar has been that. This thing is continuing to, we're about 3 days into this sideways channel right here, and it doesn't look like it wants to make a break just yet. I think we've got some good opportunities. A break above what I'm looking for initially is a break above this 157.20, and I think if we get above 157.20, we have a very good chance of making some nice runs into about the 15800 area. You can see our highs here initially are about 157.75. We've got some candle bodies about 157.50. So these are going to kind of be our levels to watch as we go. So above 157.20, we're going to have some resistance at 157.50, and then about 157.75. So keep an eye on that, but 157.20 is going to really be our breakout level to watch for and look for that upward movement. Otherwise, I don't really want to trade anything in the middle. We've had a nice little breakout of this guy right here, and it doesn't really look like it wants to go anywhere, so we can probably adjust our trend line just a little bit and see if we can start to, just for the sake of tracking this, see if we can start to get some breakouts. But really, I don't want to get into anything until we get a break of about 156.50. It's getting a little too choppy for my taste right now, so outside of 156.50, I'm going to sell down to about 155.75. That general area, 15600, 156.50, about a 50 pip run, and then potentially a little bit further there. And otherwise, we're going to be waiting for a break above 157.20. Okay, so that's what we're looking for there. And again, on the euro yen, we can see similar types of things as we've seen on the euro dollar. This has kind of been crawling up this short-term trend line, but we can even adjust this, and it still works very nicely with how the market has kind of been bouncing around and working with this area. So first of all, we've talked about this about 100 times, and that's 100.70, and a nice clean break of these little highs right here. And I think we've got a good chance to work our way up into these highs, which is about 101.30.40 area. So I'm looking for that. Otherwise, I think that we're good to, if we get a break below 100.30, then I'm going to be looking to take this down into the 100 even and about 99.85 and so on. I think we've got a good chance to make a run there. That'll be a nice 1 hour break. That'll be a nice break of support and so on, and we should be able to get some good movement down into that area. But otherwise, I'm kind of liking this upper 100.70, and I think if we can make a nice clean break of this, then we should have a run of 30 to probably 50 pips. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then last but not least, the Aussie dollar. This was the level we talked about last night, and it did make a break, and it's just it made a little run there, about 20 pips, and it's retraced most of it. The Aussie, as you can see on this daily chart, or excuse me, on this 4-hour chart, there's not a lot immediately ahead of it. On the daily chart, it's trying to break above the 100-day moving average. It's coming upon some pretty decent resistance right through here. So if it starts to really make a break, it could run. But at this point, I'm getting a little less enthusiastic about a buying opportunity here. It's above, our 102.65 area, which is pretty important, but it's looking a little tiny bit messy, so could continue up from here, but I may just stay out, and I'm really looking more for about the 102.15 to break right here and get some nice downward activity from that, down into about 100.75, 10100, kind of that general area. I think we have a lot of pips to the downside if we make a break there. So that's what we're going to be looking for. And then kind of last but not least here, gold has really rallied like crazy. Gold's really made a big run for it. It was very consolidated for a couple of days and then finally made a break. And so gold and oil have really been the big movers as of the last several hours. And so we'll keep an eye on that. But gold continues to rally, and that's going to help push a little bit of dollar weakness into the whole thing as well. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We've got some great levels, more notes and entry orders coming out. We'll just kind of keep an eye on all of that. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in the chat.